What is going on, guys? I decided to just randomly record this video. So if y'all don't know, I primarily use Linux. I switched to Linux months ago, stuff like that. And for a long time, I was dual booting Linux and Windows for some games that only run on Windows and wouldn't run on Linux. With Proton or Wine. So games that use anti-cheats like Fortnite and games like that, Call of Duty. So I was dual booting both, and I attempted to do what's called a single GPU pass-through, which is when in Linux you would boot up a Windows virtual machine and you would pass through an entire graphics card over to Windows with only a single graphics card, not two, like a single one, right? And when I had my AMD Radeon 7900 XTX, I just could not get to work. I couldn't do it. I tried everything. I tried multiple guides, multiple tutorials on YouTube, but none of them worked. And then my general consensus was that it just works easier and better with NVIDIA. Even though AMD works way better out of the box in Linux, NVIDIA, at least in my experience, is easier for a single GPU pass-through on Linux than AMD. People with AMD had pilot experience. I did not. Right, so with me getting, and excuse all the wire where I have the controllers and stuff like that plugged in, with me getting the RTX 5080, like I showed in the last video, I was like, you know what, let me give it another go with a single GPU pass-through. Couldn't do right away because the software to export the ROM of the GPU that you need to patch and put into the virtual machine, the software wasn't updated to support the Blackwell, which is the 50 series GPUs yet. But they released an update 2 days ago that finally allowed support. So boot up in Windows, export the ROM with NV Flash, and did it. I spent hours just going through guides and stuff like that, trying to get it to work. It did not work for the longest. Like I was about to give up. But then I tried one more guide and one more guide with script in it. I followed both and magic got to work. So this isn't the final this isn't the final result. I actually want to do pass. I want to wipe out, because right now it's currently in a dual boot setup. I want to wipe out the NVMe drive I have for the actual dual boot Windows partition, so the hard metal Windows partition, pass that through to a new VM, a new virtual machine, pass through that entire hard drive, and I'm going to get a smaller, actually ordered already, a smaller 512 SSD that I'm going to use for another dual boot Windows partition. But this one's only going to be for games that use anti-cheats, games that don't run on Linux. So, which I barely play games that use anti-cheat. Only things like Fortnite. I don't really play Call of Duty like that anymore. That's why I was like, I'll just get a smaller hard drive just for that. And everything else, my 1 terabyte NVMe, I'm going to use for the single GPU pass-through virtual machine. So this isn't the final build, but I'm just doing to show y'all. I got a 5080. I'm running CachyOS Linux, which is like a branch of Arch Linux, and I got it to work. So this is just to show y'all. So go ahead and turn it on. Oh, excuse me, that's my water bottle. Turn my monitor. Turn on the PC. See, CachyOS. It's gonna load up. I'm showing you all the way through. All right, so at the login screen, so I'm gonna go ahead and put in my passcode real quick. And I'm running KDE Plasma, as you can see. I'm going to reinstall everything anyways. I'm gonna reinstall, got to install Windows on the smaller SSD. And for some reason, Windows does not like when you install it after another operating system. So I'm gonna have to wipe this drive with Linux on it and just install Windows on that smaller SSD is coming in, and then reinstall Linux on the main SSD, which is this one I'm using right now. And then my other 1 terabyte NVMe drive is gonna be for that Windows VM. All right. Okay. So as you can see, I am literally in Linux right now. I do neofetch. It's not there. I'm gonna install it real quick. Give me a second. I'm trying this with one hand. All right. Yeah. So just to show y'all, this is my system right here. The reason why this is showing 1080p is because I have a little main display right here, which I have on the side. But this monitor right here I'm using is 1440p. See, it's my CPU, and this first GPU is obviously the integrated graphics on the CPU, and then this is my actual RTX 5080, and I have 32 gigs of RAM, DDR5, 6000 megahertz. All right, so as you can see, Linux. Now, I go ahead and type in virtual machine manager. This says Win 10. I call this Win 10 only because it makes it easier for the scripts. The scripts that are already made for single GPU pass-through are set to use the name Win 10. Sorry, make it focus. Are set to use the name Win 10. So I just kept it Win 10. If I change the name of the virtual machine, I would just have to go into the scripts, change the name to whatever virtual machine name I set, and then that's pretty much it. But just to make it easier, I just kept it Win 10. All right, I see Linux. Let's go ahead, load it up. Screen's gonna go black. Get the GPU spinning. Black, and then bam, virtual machine loading. See, audio, everything working. I already installed the driver for the 5080. Display settings, as you can see. Well, HDR is off right now, but supports HDR. I can literally turn it on. And alone HDR. If I go to advanced display, you can literally see my monitors there, 5080. So I literally passed through the my only GPU 5080 into single GPU pass through. I haven't seen any. I may be wrong, but as of me recording this, I have not seen any 50 series single GPU pass through demos. So I'm just doing this to show y'all that it is possible for those of y'all who have 50 series card and want to do it. It is possible. And you see it goes all the way to 240 like my monitor does. And yeah, you know, if I literally go to the NVIDIA app and then I go to my rig, I gave the virtual machine half my RAM. So instead of 32 gigs, I gave it 16 and kept the other 16 for the Linux. All right, so as you can see, this is my CPU, the latest driver, Windows 11 Pro. This is a test. As I said, it's not the final product. This is the test, so I only gave it 100 gigs. And I see it gave it half, so I give it about 16 gigs of RAM. As you can see, loads everything perfectly fine. Normal, boom. All right, now, all I gotta do is go here, shut down. And it's like I shut on my computer. It's like I shut on my computer, watch Watch what happens. It's shutting down the virtual machine. All right. And after a couple seconds, okay, be still on. Loads right back into Linux. Bada bing, bada boom. Perfectly fine, perfectly fine. All right, I'll go back here. Do NeoFetch again. GPU is back where it should be. All right. So again, just showing y'all, it's not the final product. I don't even know if I'm gonna do a tutorial because I don't have a full understanding of the process and how everything works with a single GPU, like the scripts and everything like that. I don't know enough in detail to kind of do a tutorial, but I know how to follow them. I know enough about operating systems, stuff like that, and drivers to follow a guide and do it. But this is a demo showing y'all that it's possible if you have 50 series cards to get it done on Linux. Okay, I will do another video after I pass through the entire SSD and everything like that, just show y'all the final product and everything like that. But I'm just posting this to show y'all that it is possible. All right, catch y'all later.